The Colts made some moves on the practice squad today. One of them, a very notable guy getting released. One guy I'm very intrigued by being added to the practice squad. So, the guys that were signed to the practice squad are center guard Jack Anderson, running back Tyler Goodson, and tight end Jordan Murray. Now, the guys that got released from the practice squad, running back Jason Huntley, tight end Johnny Lumpkin, and the fan favorite wide receiver Mike Strawn was released from the Colts practice squad. We'll have to see if he ends up being brought back onto the practice squad or if he makes it onto somebody else's practice squad, which is entirely possible. But this is a move where it felt inevitable, right? Shane Steichen coming in, he wants his guys on the roster. I think it was a big statement to all the wide receivers when they were about to go into week one with four wide receivers on the active roster. Now, Jawan Winfrey ended up getting the call up to the active roster, so they went in with five. But again, it's very telling that that was the move that they were willing to make up to that point. And the fact that they brought up Jawan Winfrey, it kind of had writing on the wall for Mike Strawn, right? The fact that he was left on the practice squad instead of Jawan Winfrey was pretty telling. And the thing about this is that there was so much promise about Mike Strawn, and we all wanted Mike Strawn to work out. It just wasn't able to work out. So now we're going with the younger guy that's built a lot like Mike Strawn, has a lot of the same physical capabilities as Mike Strawn, but from a having experience actually playing football standpoint, Jawan Winfrey has much more than Mike Strawn. So while that was a good story and we all wanted it to work, Mega Strawn, right? We were all hoping he could be the next coming of Calvin Johnson. That just never came to be. But you can kind of see what the Colts are trying to do here, right? They switch out a running back for a running back, a tight end for a tight end, right? They're getting new bodies in there. Guys that they thought were expendable went ahead, they got out of the building. But the interesting thing is when you switch a wide receiver for an interior offensive lineman. Okay, and I went and I looked up who Jack Anderson was because I thought that was really interesting with the Colts situation at wide receiver. Why would they let Mike Strong go? So I went and looked up Jack Anderson. Jack Anderson played his college football at Texas Tech, and he was actually a right guard for Texas Tech. And that's important because if you've been paying attention, that is a very needed position for the Indianapolis Colts right now. So it'll be interesting to see. He's obviously probably going to stay on the practice squad at least a couple of weeks, right? Get used to being on the team, get used to the system, get going, see what he can do. But it'll be interesting to see if they decide at some point to bring him up. Now, is that an upgrade from Will Fries? At this point, I don't know enough about Jack Anderson to be able to tell you that. What I will tell you is that he was drafted by the Bills, put onto their practice squad, got picked up by the Eagles, ended up on injured reserve. After that point, went to the Giants, signed a one-year contract, but was waived in training camp of this offseason. So now he's there to pick up. And I'm wondering if this is a move with the Giants offensive line looking the way it did in the game. Wonder if they wanted to go ahead and try to pick this guy up to see if maybe he would be a good fit for this team before the Giants are able to put in the waiver claim for him, right? It'd be interesting to see what the order was of which the Colts picked these guys up. But in the tweet that the Colts put out, he's the first guy that they mentioned was, it says, we have signed center Jack Anderson. And it's interesting that they put center on there because he played guard in college. But it's that versatility, right? That interior offensive line versatility that makes guys valuable in the NFL. The more you can do, especially at the offensive line position, where currently in the NFL, so many teams are devoid of depth at the offensive line. I don't know exactly what that is. Now, my assumption would be that, we're in a day and age where kids are getting old enough that they're realizing, okay, what positions are getting paid the most, right? And what positions take the most abuse. Offensive linemen generally not getting paid as much as, cornerbacks and quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs. But they're also taking a huge punishment. So if I had to theorize, I would say that that's probably a good reason why there's not a whole lot of guys playing offensive line, not a whole lot of elite offensive line talent, but also the guys on defensive side of the ball are, crazy athletic, right? The athletes in the NFL nowadays are insane. Okay, you have all these guys running, 4.5s, 4.4s, but they're also, 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds coming off the edge, right? Even in the middle, you have guys like Aaron Donald, absolute freaks. We have guys like DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart, just absolute freaks all over the place on defensive lines, which is going to continue to make life tougher for those offensive line. So I guess that was a little tangent more about the NFL than the Colts, but I think it's prevalent, right? You think about the Colts and the issues that they have. Quentin Nelson, when he has a bad game, it's usually against a guy like Jeffrey Simmons or a guy like Cam Hayward, right? Some of the best guys at their position because they're such freaks of nature. So we give offensive linemen a pretty hard time. And sometimes they deserve it, sometimes they don't. What it is we've talked about parity in the NFL. You hear about parity in the league so often, and it used to not really be that way. There were really only four teams on one side that could win it, four teams on another. But there's so much talent coming into the NFL nowadays, all over the place, that different positions like the offensive line, not only is there not elite talent coming in, but now you're starting to see that the talent level of the elite guys is starting to level out with the so many elite guys coming into the NFL on the defensive side. So we'll see what Jack Anderson is going to be able to do. We'll see if he's somebody that sticks to the team or not. I'll try to keep you guys updated on the practice squad moves. And any of the little moves, they might be little 1-2 minute videos at some point if it's not really anything we need to be worried about. But this was one that I thought was an interesting move, and I'm going to be interested to see if at some point, again, because the Colts are so devoid at right guard, and Will Fries. I don't know if you guys saw, I'll flash it up here on the screen for you, the PFF grades for the offensive line this year. When I talk about we are devoid of talent at right guard, it was really bad in week one, and a very obvious disparity between Will Fries and the rest of the offensive line. So this is a move that could have an impact. We'll see what happens with it, and I'll keep you guys updated on any more Colts news that happens. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on to get notified of any of those videos. Tomorrow, we are finally going to be having film study. I'm sorry that I haven't had the time to get that out to you before tomorrow. But we will be going over some film, and any ideas you guys have, any suggestions for different content that you guys have, please let me know down in the comment section. I am not against doing what you guys want, right? This is the Colts Syndicate. This is a fan-driven brand. It's on the banner. That doesn't change. So whatever you guys want to hear about, let me know down in the comments. And again, make sure you're subscribed. So as I'm sitting here, I just finished recording what you had just seen, and the Colts made some more roster moves. Okay, they have signed running back Jake Funk to the 53-man roster from the practice squad and signed guard Ike Bodiger to the practice squad. Now, this is happening because they also placed running back Evan Hull, rookie running back Evan Hull, on the IR with his knee injury. So unfortunately, the Rook is going to be down for at least 4 weeks. And at least for the moment, the Colts are going to be rolling with Zach Moss, Deion Jackson, and Jake Funk. Okay, the offensive line, they're bringing in another guard. He's been in and off the practice squad, so we'll see what happens with the offensive interior of the line. Is Will Fries going to keep his job? We will certainly have to see if that's the case. But again, Evan Hull making his way to the injured reserve. Very unfortunate for the rookie, but now here's the actual ending to the rest of this video. And until next time, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.